What is going on, guys? We have Dunk Trickster from Nostra Games. Now we're just talking about Nostra Games and a lot of the games that they're coming out with, and we're gonna be showing a lot of them in this video. And I'm gonna let you know that I'm a fan of this developer, very big fan. We're gonna talk about it, okay? Now these are the games here that are like $1.99, some $1.49. Some might even be $2 and something, but they're pretty cheap. Not every game on here is that cheap, but the simple ones that I'll let you know which ones they are, because there's other games from Nostra that are not cheap like that, but let's get into it. Now, these games are one-button games. As you see, X to jump, X to flip. As you can see, I messed up. I have to let go of the X. Let's play one more time. They're not the most immersive games, obviously. They're fairly simple. I mean, you just press X. In some of the other games, it's going to be a different button, maybe a directional based button. You just have to know when to let go of X. And this is Dunk Trickster. Let's jump into another game from Nostra. So here's another very simple one called Dance Mania. Now, this whole game is really based on the dancing and the music. I had to turn the music off because I just don't know. I know the music is just kind of generic, but I don't even know if I'm, just to be safe, we turned the music off. Now, let me show you just how simple this is. All you're going to do is use the left direction. That's it. And I don't know why I did that. Well, the thing about this game, you can't go backwards, and you just have to make sure these women don't get touched by any of the obstacles. The more people you have when you pass the finish line, I guess that's going to be the higher the score. It's very simple. I messed up in the beginning because I just wasn't really paying attention. And you want to collect as many diamonds as you can. As you can see, I'm on level 59. This stuff is not challenging at all. And then at the end, you give these guys dances, personal dances, as you can see. And you have a couple of different characters that they keep switching you from, just different looks for the woman. And I guess that's the whole purpose of the game. Maybe, I really don't know. I mean, as you can see, when you stop, they just dance. That's all they do. And whatever angle you get with the girls, that's how they start off. So you have to be careful not to make your angle too wide so you can, won't be able to fit through these obstacles. As you join them, they'll change colors. Their hair and clothes will change colors to be like yours. But this game here, I think it was $2.29 or $2.99 or something like that. There ain't really nothing really too much going on here. Honestly, the entertainment value in this, or the desire to play it, or the repetitive playability is not really there. I mean, as you can see, that's 60 levels. I'm not seeing really much of any difference. But like I said, these games are fairly okay. They're like mobile games, the way I see it. It's like a mobile game. It's nothing more than that. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this because it doesn't really offer a whole lot. Every level doesn't feel that much different. I mean, that's all you're doing. It's not really much of anything. You can't edit the character or nothing like that. Let's go on to the next game. So here's a game called Sky Dunk. It's pretty much a race. And as you can see, you can customize your character. I have 4.6 thousand of the currency, the basketballs, whatever. You spin them to change the way your character looks. Like, let's say I want to look like this. Okay, I just bought that. Okay, right? And that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not a big deal. The characters don't have a lot of detail. They're just they're not even really humans, actually. And this one's a little bit more difficult, but it's basically a race. You just use the analog and the jump button is what you're going to be doing here. And as you can see, this one, what I've noticed is it's very sensitive. It's very easy to lose, and you have to make sure you don't run into certain things. And as you can see, many times as I fail, I still ended up, as many times as my guy failed, I still ended up in first place. And all that fireworks stuff is a little bit annoying, but let's give it another go. Look at this, my God. And I still ended up with first place. So they don't make the game super difficult, but that's what this is. You're going through all these different obstacles where you're just racing and you're just using left analog and X to jump. But it's a very button sensitive game. If you don't hold the X long enough, you end up, you know, you have to hold it at the exact right amount of time in order to make the jump correctly. And you can't jump on top of the trampolines. You just have to run to them and they'll jump on top of them. So it's a little bit more difficult than the last game I just showed. Let's move on to another Nostra game. So here we have Vaulting Champions. Again, kind of reminds you of a mobile game, right? And again, just like that other one, you could change your characters around. You know what I mean? Be different looking characters. And yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. I mean, I unlocked everybody pretty much. But, and as you can see, some of these characters resemble some of the ones from some of the other games. But anyway, let's take a look at this. And it's very simple. Very simple. And they jump for you. I did not know that at first when I played. Oh, I didn't jump that time. Sometimes they jump for you. Again, just pretty much a mobile game. That's really all it is, basically. If you want to... Nothing really to this. You know, I think it's okay, but this one here doesn't really offer you much either. It's kind of like the dance game. You're not really feeling a big difference from level to level. It's just a repetitive thing where you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. And it's very easy to win. No challenge here. Let's move on to another Nostra game. So here we have the Exit Project, Backstreets. That's the name of the game. And as you can see, this game is very different than any of those other games I just looked at. It's going to cost you a little bit more, of course. It looks like it would anyway. So basically, you're just basically walking through these doors. And every time you walk through the door, you're basically kind of like stuck in this like loop.
I must be dreaming on the go. This can't be the same street.
And as you can see, the guy has like a British accent. You hear some Spanish in the background on the radio. Wherever that radio is, I don't know if that's his radio or what. And you basically gotta, I guess, figure out how to get out of this loop, basically. And I have not been able to figure it out. because it seems like you can't really interact with too much. You can't like pick stuff up or anything like that. You could just open doors basically with X and move around with the analogs, move the camera with the right analog, move your character with the left analog. And it's a first person view. You know, you look around, you can't see your character's legs or feet or anything like that. So it's a little bit simple. The graphics are it's definitely a very different type of game than what we saw in those other Nostra games. It's, you know, they're higher budget games, I guess you would say. And you could turn around and go back the other way. But if you do that, you're going to confuse yourself. And like I said, I haven't really figured out the whole purpose. I know what's going on. Your character's in a like a loop, you know, where he can't get out of it. There's other games like this too. I've seen them. And sometimes when you look around, you'll start noticing some things a little bit different. Every now and then you'll see something in the background interact. Like, I think there's like mannequins that will appear at some point. I guess in a way it might be kind of like a thriller or a scary game, but not. See, as you can see right there, that character just fell. And I don't know what the purpose in that is. Really, I don't understand it, but as you can see, that kind of, I don't know, maybe that makes it kind of scary a little bit, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's not really scary, but it just adds this extra confusion to it to where you kind of look at that and you're like, well, I don't understand the purpose, you know. But it's just, maybe it's just there just to mess with you or something. But,
No, this can't be real.
you know, now I went through this other door. But if you go back through the same door, well, I can't go back this time. Sometimes it seems like it lets you back, but sometimes it doesn't. It just kind of locks. And the rooms are almost identical, but not completely identical. Now, you want to look at these here. There's numbers here. Now, as you can see, you have Asian written. I don't know what part of Asia. I don't know if it's Chinese, Japanese, Korean, or what it is, but you see some of that. Your guy has like a British accent, and you hear Spanish in the background. So it's pretty internationally based, I guess you would say. Now, remember that door that I went into.
No, this can't be real.
Now this one says number 0. So it's like and if you want to look around, this game gets pretty fairly decent ratings. I think the overall rating for it right now is 3.6, something like that. And the rating I'm talking about is the reviews from the people who purchased the game. I'm not talking about any type of website or any, you know, I'm just talking about the reviews from those that purchased the game, because they leave a rating on it. They don't write in the review, but they leave a rating at the PlayStation Store. But as you can see, I haven't figured it out. I guess it's some type of puzzle, because as you can see, the number 1 again. And if you scroll your camera around, you can see different stuff. And, you know, but nothing really seems to. Let's see. Now it says number 2. Let's see what the next door says. And then I'm going to move to a different game that's actually probably my favorite Nostra game.
Maybe I need to choose the right door.
Maybe I need to choose right door, but I don't see any multiple options for doors. That's the part that confuses me. He'll say that a few times. But anyway, let's move on to the next Nostra game. So here we have a game called Only Uprush. Now, with these last 2 games, you know, with those first few Nostra games, those real cheap ones, you could tell they're all from one developer. They're all pretty similar. But then you have these here. And you know, you can go to your last checkpoint, which I'm going to do. You just hit L1 and you can go to your last checkpoint instead of starting over. And it'll take you to, and as you can see, you're basically trying to get as high as you can. Now, the logic in this game is not the best. It's not really, you know. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, I just messed up. And he never seems to get hurt. And as you can see, you have, looks like I have like, let me see. I didn't even know that was in the game. I didn't. I didn't know they had these like emotes and stuff in the game. That's pretty interesting. I didn't even know about that. But let me see if I can teleport back to, let's see. So I have different checkpoints. I'll go to that one. So I'm way up here, 132 meters or whatever it is. I don't know. L2, R2 is going to make your character run. And you can edit your character and switch, switch things around with your character. 2 to give your character a different look. And the game is a little bit on the stiff side. This game is fairly fun. I'm not going to say that I love the game or I'm crazy about it, but I do like playing it to an extent, I don't play it that often, but I definitely play it. I mean, when you look around, you see all this stuff that just doesn't have any logic. It almost looks like he's in a dream or something. That's kind of what I'm getting from it. It's like if you were in a weird dream, because a lot of the stuff you see in the background is very random stuff. Oh my goodness. And as you can see, it's a little on the stiff side, so it's not like, oh my gosh. And he never seems to get hurt, right? That goes to what I was saying before about it being like more like a dream sort of thing. Let's go back up here. You can always go back up. And it's just interesting. It's fairly fun to play just to try to see how high you can get. Obviously, again, none of their games are like super immersive where you're going to really spend like that, that much of your time and effort into it, really. Those are not the type of games that they make. But however, I do like playing some of these games. And there's some Nostra games that I didn't want, that I didn't buy. But they kind of remind you of mobile games. This one, not so much. Maybe from the standpoint of how it's not so like deep and immersive. It's just a game with simple controls where you just basically have one simple obstacle. And this one is to get as high as you can, basically. I don't know if there's like a peak, like a maximum where you won or where you win or something like that. I don't know if the game has anything like that in it. It might. But it's real kind of cool to just try to see how you can get. And there's other developers that make games with the same concept. There's another developer. I think it's called something like Up or something like that. Something similar to this. But it's called Up something. I know that. This one's called only Up Rush. But it's fairly okay. I mean, obviously something like this is not going to be for everybody. There's a certain type of audience, and this isn't really generally my typical type of game, as none of these Nostra games are, but they're kind of like an extra game to have, kind of simplified, no big deal really, you know what I mean? Like, just an extra game to have to mess with to kill time a little bit and kind of get into. Anyway, that's this video. Do you guys play Nostra? I'm a fan of Nostra. I'm very interested and very curious to see what they do in the future, what type of games that they have in the works. I'm gonna research to see because it seems like their games are getting a little bit bigger as this one did. And like I said, fairly fun. I mean, there's some interesting these emotes are not really that big of a deal, really. But it's a silly little cool little thing just to add to the game. But yeah, as you can see, some more Asian based letters or symbols. Leave a comment, let me know where you're at. Do you play any of these games? Do you play Nostra at all? Are you a fan of any of them?